Hello, everyone. Uh, this is Mukul Agarwal, and welcome to the second set of webinars. Let me just confirm that you guys can see my screen. Can you confirm that you guys can see my screen? Okay, so let's wait for a few minutes so that everybody signed up. Okay, so seems like everybody is good and we are ready to go. So, okay, welcome to webinar. Today we're going to focus a little bit on the machine learning and AI webinar and what the problem statement would look like and how you will proceed and what software you will use. So we'll discuss a little bit about that. So you're seeing the Kogence front homepage. The few things that you need to know. Uh, this is the challenge web page, right? So if you are not logged in, so I'm right now logged in, that's why I'm seeing this. So let's just go, let's say I'm logged out, right? And if you go to the challenge pages, you will see something like this. So first thing you have to do, you have to have an account on Kogence, right? So making an account on Kogence does not necessarily mean you are signed up for a hackathon or challenge. So Kogence is not just about hackathon. We offer cloud computing services apart from hackathons. You can just purchase cloud computing services from Kogence and do simulation, or you can participate in hackathon, right? So just making an account on Kogence does not mean you're registered for hackathon. So first thing you will do is that you will press this button, which is Kogence sign up, or you will press here. Both are the same. You will sign up for, if you press this, you will get a registration page. So first you will sign up on Kogence, then you are gonna go and sign in. Once you have made a login ID and password, you're going to, again, another thing we have noticed that a lot of people are facing is that when you make an account, be very careful about the email ID you are typing, because you will get a confirmation link in your email and you would have to click on that link to confirm the account. If you type a wrong email ID, you will never going to get that confirmation link and you will never be able to sign into Kogence. So be very careful what email ID you're typing. Once you're done, then you can go inside the Kogence and you can go to the challenge page then, and you will see these buttons to register for independent, whichever hackathon you want to register. We are right now doing 3 different hackathons. Uh, so you go here and you register on hackathon. Okay. So now let me show you a few more. Let me just walk you through how this hackathon would proceed and what it will entail. The challenge would be organized in 3 levels: level 1, level 2, level 3. A lot of people are participating, so level 1 is going to be a relatively easy problem. It's actually going to be a fairly easy problem on visualizing data. Hold on for 1 minute. Okay, guys. So I'm just told that you guys cannot see my screen. So let me fix that first. Uh, so, guys, can you confirm that you can see my screen now? I am actually on the AI challenge registration page. Can you confirm that you can see that page? Okay, so we will get, seems like everybody can see it. So let's get started now. Um, so as I was saying, the hackathon would be organized in three levels: level one, level two, level three. The level one problem is going to be a fairly straightforward, simple problem. We'll give you a data set and we will ask you to be very imaginative about what information can you get out of that data and how are you going to visualize it or chart that data so that you can present the information in an aesthetically pleasant way to the viewer. And information density of the chart needs to be high, so you need to make a least number of charts to convey all the information in the data, and it needs to be visually pleasant as well. You can use any tools for that you like. You can use Python, you can use Mac, Octave. We have some special charting tools on our website. You can use any tool you like. Okay, it's going to be, it's a very simple, straightforward problem, and the reason the level one is going to be simple is because there are a very large number of participants. So we need to first filter people who are serious about going forward in this challenge and who has some background in data mining and programming and analyzing the data, right? So after you, level one would not get you any prize money, but we will give you free computing power on the Kogence platform to be able to do your um, computing for level one. Those who qualify to from level one, they go to level two, and we will increase your amount of free computing that's available for computing on our platform when you go to level two. Level two problem is going to be a more rigorous AI problem, and at the those who qualify in the end of the level two, they will get some prize, and they also qualify and go into level three. We will again increase the compute power in level three. In level three, you will also have access to GPUs, and those who qualify level three, the final award ceremony is going to be in February in Varanasi in India. And there, if you are not present in India, don't worry. We will, whatever is your prize, you can be sent the prize through whatever way you like. Uh, I just want to um, give you a heads up that Kogence is a US based company. We are registered in US. So, so we operate under the laws of US, and we can only do transactions with people who we are allowed legally in US. So it is your responsibility to make sure that you can participate in the challenge and receive a prize from us. There are some geographical locations who might be under legal embargo from US. In that case, we will not be able to do any transaction with you. So please, before you participate in the challenge, make sure that you are legally allowed to participate in the challenge and receive prize, and you're allowed to transact with us. That's your responsibility to make sure that's the case. Okay, and I'm gonna talk a little bit so you can click on this platform and you can look at how the computing pricing works on our platform, right? So we when you sign up for hackathon, we are going to give you 200 credits for free. What does 200 credits mean? It describes here. So one credit allows you to use one CPU for 1 hour. Uh, so I'm just pointing this out to you because the level 1 problem is going to be simple problem. So don't pick up a big machine. So we are a supercomputing platform, so you can pick very good machines. You can pick a 128 cores machine, and you can also cluster them together. You can say that I want 10 of the 128 core machines. You can also pick big GPU machines, right? So one GPU takes actually 3 credits. So you will, for the level 1, you will only get 200 credits. So if you pick a 128 core machines, you would be able to do a computing for only 1.5 hours, and your all the credits will be gone. So the first, excuse me, level 1 problem is a charting problem. It's very simple problem, so you don't need to use high-end machines. You can stick with one CPU machine or 2 CPU machine. Once you qualify from level 1 to level 2, we will give you more credits, and then you can try using bigger machines. And the problem will also be complicated, so you will need more computing. Okay, and if you do run out of the credits, you have a choice to purchase more. In that case, I would suggest you send an email to us at admin@kogence.com or mukul@kogence.com. But be very careful not to run out your credit. You have another choice. Let's say you run out of the credits. You can actually do the problems on your local computer or laptop or wherever. We don't care. What we care is that when you upload the solution, and you can upload your solution into our website, um, what we do care is that your code should run on our website as it is without fixing anything. We will not have an opportunity to change any line of code. We will just press the run button to evaluate whether your code is working or not. So that's your responsibility. If you load the code up on our website, it should run on our website as it is. Okay. A few more things. Some people have asked us what's the terms and conditions, so you can go and look at the terms of use here on the bottom and the privacy policy here. So if you look at the terms of use, there are detailed terms of use here, and the summary is on the top, right? I think the very all you need to know really, these are large documents. All you need to know is that here's the short version, right? In Kogence, we have public projects and private projects. If you make your project public, then anybody can copy it and anybody can execute it, anybody can download it, and they can do whatever they want to with it. Basically, you retain your authorship right. That product is yours. You can claim your authorship right, but everybody else can do whatever they want to do. That's the permission you are giving when you make your project public. If you keep your project private, it's private. Nobody can access it. Nobody can do anything with you. Even Kogence employees cannot go and look at your private projects. The way Kogence platform is designed technologically, we cannot access your private project unless you give us the permission to do so. Also, only in extraordinary circumstances we access private projects, and those can be like either security, maintenance, or government request or something like that. But even in those extraordinary situations, we will ask your permission first. So we need to have your permission before we access private projects. That's pretty much it. Rest you can look at it if you want. So let's get started on the AI side of things. The two main links you need to know on our website is this simulator page on the top. Yeah, we call it simulators, but basically these are any compute engines. And for the artificial intelligence, the relevant ones you can probably see is the Cafe is a machine learning engine. Keras is another machine learning engine. You might be interested in Jupyter Notebook. Jupyter Notebook is a nice programming environment. People use it very commonly for Python, but you can do many more language in Jupyter Notebook. And I'll show you quickly how Jupyter Notebook works on Kogence. It's a popular programming environment. What else? We have as programming languages that are very common for AI. We have support for Lua. We have support for Python. Okay. So you can see Python here, Lua here. In the machine learning engines, then we have scikit-learn. This is a very popular low-end machine learning engine. A lot of simple problems can be solved here, and it's very interactive. It's actually nice. We have a lot of examples in scikit-learn. I will encourage you to go and explore scikit-learn. And scikit-learn, its own website, has a lot of examples, lot of tutorials. So you might find it useful to solve some of the challenge problems on Kogence. Then TensorFlow is probably today is the most popular machine learning engine. So if you are new to machine learning or you want to understand deep learning AI, TensorFlow is a good place to start. Again, TensorFlow has a very extensive website of its own with a lot of examples and documentation. Theano and Torch are some more AI frameworks. So we support a lot of AI frameworks, almost all popular ones. So you are free to choose any one of these you want to solve the problem. We don't recommend anything. For visualization, OpenCV is a popular computer vision program. Octave is Octave. If you guys have not heard of it, Octave is advertised as MATLAB clone. So it's a free open source clone of MATLAB. So any program that runs on MATLAB will also run on Octave. So you can do a lot of charting in Octave. We have a lot of highly specialized visualization programs such as ParaView. So you are free to use any of those. Okay. So now let's look at when you click on any of these links, right? So let's click on TensorFlow. It will tell you what is TensorFlow. There is a short version of how you use TensorFlow on Kogence, and there is a longer version here, which is very step-by-step instruction. So I'm not going to go and read these, but because these are very step-by-step explanation of how you do things in Kogence. But if you scroll all the way down to the page, here it kind of shows you what are the different kind of TensorFlow examples available on our platform. These are functional examples. They will execute as it is and run as it is, right? So let's go back and look at some more programs here. Similarly, there is okay, let me take a few seconds pause here and just ask if there are any questions from anybody. So I'll wait for 10 seconds and see if anybody has a question so we can answer. If you have any question, please type it on the chat window. No? Okay, so let's continue. So let's look at scikit-learn is another popular one. You might find it useful. Let's look at the scikit-learn. Here again, you will find the short version of information how to use it and a long version. And on the bottom of the page, if you scroll all the way down, you will see a lot of examples available using scikit-learn, right? Let's look at one of these examples, pixel-wise vector quantization of an image for reducing number of colors required. You will find a good description of the project here. What they are trying to do here in this project, if I explain you quickly, you have an image here. This image has a lot of variations of colors, so it is actually using 96,000 colors. And if you use that many colors, of course, your size of image is very large, right? But as you can tell from the visual perception of this image, there aren't that many, there aren't 96,000 colors, right? So if you say that I'm just going to pick 64 most important colors from this, then your image quality goes down a lot. But if you do it intelligently, that's what is called vector quantization, then your image quality is not that bad. It's actually quite similar. And you're going from 96,000 colors to only 64 colors. That's the beauty, right? And we are going to use an algorithm called k-means algorithm. So what k-means do is basically imagine a two-dimensional chart, and every dot in that chart is representing a color that you are using for the picture, right? So generally what happens in any common picture, you're not going to use the entire two-dimensional space. So those dots are not going to be uniformly distributed in that two-dimensional chart. There would be clusters, right? For example, if you visually look at it, this picture has a lot of red color, right? So if you imagine that two-dimensional chart where every dot is representing a color used in the picture, you will see a very dense cluster of dots representing red color, right? So similarly, in this chart, you might have a few clusters. And what this k-means cluster algorithm do is that it's trying to pick 64 of those clusters and replace the entire cluster by a mean of those multiple points in the cluster. That's why it's called the k-means cluster algorithm. And you can go read, there's a lot of literature available on how the k-means clustering algorithm works, right? And you can go on the files tab here. So you click on the files tab here. You can actually see the code files, right? So k-means.py, this is the actual code file. You double click on it. So the code file doesn't open if you don't double click on it. You need to double click to open it. And you can, this is a Python code, so you can, people who know the Python, you can easily see, right? And you can go and read what this code is doing. I'm not gonna go over it, but it's very simple, right? The Python library comes with, so we are using, in the beginning, you can see that we are using the scikit-learn libraries. So scikit-learn comes with k-means as a function. That's why this code is so short, right? You can see that. So this portion, we are just plotting the images. Pretty much the real code is just right here, right? So it's very small because these libraries are very powerful. They come with built-in functions. So all you have to do is basically use the k-means algorithm, right? So you can go here and look at it. Let me just walk you through some platform features. So what you will do is that if you go to collaborate, you can keep project private versus public. So you can make teams for Kogence hackathon. You can form teams. The only thing is that the prize money given would be distributed among the team, dependent upon how the team leader decides the distribution. You can keep it private, and if you are making a team and you want to collaborate within the team, you can just add the email IDs here, right? And so I'm not gonna do that. Then you go to the settings. You can pick the machines here, and again, as I says, be careful not to pick big machines for the level 1 problem, because then you will run out of all your credits. We'll give you only 200 credits to solve the level 1 problem. Okay, so stick with the smaller machines. You can go in the software and you just pick, for running the scikit-learn, you will pick scikit-learn from here and you will type the Python file name here. Okay, and then you press the run button here, and this goes on the cloud. While it's going in the cloud, the first time you run the model, it takes about 2 minutes. There is a 2-minute time when as the machine is booting up on the cloud, but that only happens first time, right? So as your most likely workflow would be, right, you will be writing this code, right, and you will run it and you will find some error, then you will stop it and edit it again and run it again. You will not see that 2-minute lag every time. It's only first time when the machine boots up. So then you stop it and you edit it and run it, it will come up immediately. Sometimes what happens is that, so this visualize button and the run button are inactive because the machine is booting up right now in the cloud. Once the machine is ready, you can actually press the visualize button and visualize it. Sometimes it happens because of either bad network connection or something that you are waiting for several minutes and this is not coming up. So don't just wait too much. Sometimes you have to press the refresh button on your browser. Right, so but it's right now it's still booting up. So while we're waiting for it to boot up, let's go back and look at some more things on the platform. Well, I can also take a 30 seconds break to see if anybody has any question. Okay, so there, Purnendu Mishra is asking a question. Do you have GPUs available for normal use? Yes. So I don't know what you mean by normal use. So if you're not participating in hackathon and you just want to use Kogence platform for computation, yes, GPUs are available, but only available for paid customers. Because GPUs are high-end machines. So you will go here, platform pricing. If you are part of this second service team plan, not in the free plan, on the paid plan, you can join the paid plan here for $29 a month, and then GPUs are available. For hackathons, GPUs are not available for level 1 or level 2, but we will make the GPU available for level 3 to those who qualify into the level 3. Okay, so and Purnendu Mishra is asking another question is what is the xterm command in the input? Xterm is just a console. It's a terminal window. So I generally like, let me go back to here. And by the way, if you go back to, we executed a model and we navigated away from that. If you want to go back to the model that you executed, the model doesn't stop. It's still executing in the cloud, right? So this is another thing you need to be careful, is that you might navigate away from it, but it has not stopped executing. So it is still using your credits. So make sure you are aware what's happening, right? And so you come back to this place called, if you click on your avatar on the top right, and then you go and my models here, right? You see all the models that you have created, and you see the state of your models here on the right hand column, and you can see which models are running or which models have. So this is the model, for example, we executed, like vector quantization one, and it's running. So you can click on this one to get back to the running model. And Purnendu was asking, if you go here in the settings and you look at, setting software, we added another command called xterm. Xterm is just a console. I typically like to add an xterm in almost everything I do, because I will show you. Let's go inside the remote. So you see now this is, we stop and we run button has become stop button, and visualize button got active, right? So if you click on this visualize button, now you will be connected to a remote desktop machine that's running on the cloud, right? So, and this is a fully interactive display, so you can do whatever. It just feels like you're sitting on your desktop, right? So to answer the question to Purnendu, see, this is xterm, right? So I like to generally have a console uh, so that I can see what's going on, and I can look into my files from here too, right? So, and all the files. This is a good point for me to show you that every project you run on a cloud machine, you will get a folder like this. A folder is given by the job name. You should you should store everything inside this folder. Don't save anything outside that folder. The reason is that anything that is saved inside that job folder, it when you stop the job, those files will sync back to the web server. So right now, what you're looking at, this is a computing machine, right? This is the compute machine that you launched. It's not our web server. So let's say I stop this job, right? And so now when you stop this job, these files are syncing back into the web server. So when you click on the files here, you see these files on the web server. Now you're on the web server, right? So anything you store in that folder will sync back to the web server, and you can see those files from here as well. So just make sure that everything you save is saved in that folder. Another interesting thing I'm going to tell you is that so the graphics file, any graphics file, you should save it as common graphics formats like PNG or JPEG or something like that. You can't open, if you double click on it, you see this PNG file. But another thing is that every project comes with a wiki, right? So if you click on the wiki here, this is your wiki page, and every PNG or JPEG graphics that you save will show up here on the bottom in the section named model new results, right? So all the images will show up here, and this is an editable wiki, right? So you press this edit wiki button. This is a fully what you see, what you get WYSIWYG editor. So you can insert pictures, tables, template, galleries, mathematical equation, code blocks, basically anything, right? And you can move these images around. So they are showing up on the bottom section of the report. This is basically your project report, right? So you can for example, let's say you can cut this picture from here and you can paste it here. So you can move things around, right? And you can save this page. Make sure you make yourself familiar with this wiki and editing the wiki, because this is basically your deliverable from the project for the hackathon, right? So this is your project report. The project report should be nicely written. It should have graphics, figures, pictures. You will describe what approach you are taking for this problem to solve, and this is your deliverable for us, right? So for us to evaluate you as a hackathon competitor. Okay, so let's look at some other examples, right? So let's go back. By the way, if you have any question, let's take another 10 minutes stop. If you have any questions on scikit-learn or anything else, this is a good time to ask. No? No questions? Okay, so let's keep moving. Let's go back here. And so another program that you should be definitely aware of is TensorFlow. TensorFlow is very popular machine learning framework. It's probably the most popular one today. And definitely explore TensorFlow website. TensorFlow is a Google product. It's an open source Google product, and Google has a lot of information on their TensorFlow website. There are a lot of examples, a lot of demos. good website to start learning, right? If you scroll all the way to the bottom of the page here, you will see some examples or using TensorFlow on our platform on Kogence. They are functional example. They are running, so you can press the run button and it will execute, and it will tell you what. So one of the very common example to get started on machine learning is a digit recognition example. This is pretty much like a hello world example, right? So anything you're learning new in programming, you start with a hello world example. So digit recognition example is basically hello world example of machine learning. So I will definitely recommend you to go through this example. uh, this is also called MNIST example. You should be aware of the word called MNIST. MNIST stand for, it's a modified version of NIST, and NIST stands for a US national lab, National Institute of Standards and Technology. It's a very big national lab in US. So NIST had scanned a lot of handwritten digits, like 1, 2, 3, 4 handwritten numbers, and they standardized those. They converted them into a, basically each image is a 28 by 28 pixel square, and they are properly centered, so you don't have to massage the data. So the NIST had scanned a lot of these handwritten documents, massaged them, standardized them into a standard format. That data set is called MNIST data set. MNIST basically is a modified NIST data set. So NIST, they took the NIST data set, modified it, cleaned it up, and that MNIST data set is used to learn machine learning examples, right? So this particular example, then you take this NIST data set, which is a data set of handwritten digits, and then you try to write a machine learning program to see if you can recognize those digits, right? So let's see. Yeah, so these are like handwritten digits, and we are going to write a code that can tell this is 1 and this is 3, right? And it's a very common example. You can read a lot about on the web. You click on the files here. You can see actual code file. Digit recognition.python is the code file. You can see that we are using NumPy. NumPy is a numerical. NumPy stands for numerical Python. So it's a numerical computation library in Python. It's actually pretty useful. If you guys are aware of MATLAB, if you import NumPy and SciPy, SciPy stands for Scientific Python. If you install NumPy and SciPy, then you can do MATLAB style programming in Python. So it's for doing numerical computing. It's very useful library. Matplotlib is a very popular plotting library in the Python. Again, it looks very similar to MATLAB. So if you're good at plotting things in MATLAB, then you should use Matplotlib library. You will feel that it's very similar. And TensorFlow, of course, is a Python library, right? And if you go through this code again, this code is extremely simple, small code. We are generating 3 layers of neural network to recognize the digits, and these are the three layer of neural network. So if you guys don't know much about neural networks, are basically depend upon how deep the neural network is, meaning how many layers you have in the neural network, and each layer basically you are fitting a model to determine a unknown parameter in your model, right? And you go into the settings here. Again, you can pick whichever machine you want to run. Software selection, again, if you're doing TensorFlow, you will pick TensorFlow from the drop down menu, and you will write the name of the Python script here. And again, as usual, I put an xterm here to give me a console so I can check what's going on in my code. And then you press run here, and let's see what happens. I'm hoping this time there should not be 2 minutes delay. Yeah, see, it came up right away because I'm using the same 2 CPU machine that I used in the previous example. So that machine is already booted up and it's ready. So that's why it's not taking that much time. Now you go and click on the visual here, and this is your console, the xterm that I added. You can move these windows around to be more comfortable to see what's going on. This is your resource monitor, so it tells you what's going on with your CPU. So we fired a 2 CPU machine, and it's telling you what these 2 CPUs are doing. And you can see that the machine learning TensorFlow engine has not started yet. That's why your usage of CPUs is not very high right now. But very soon you will see that the usage of CPUs will go up as we start doing the learning. These are the digits that we are just printing the digits for a bit of visualization. Let's close this window. Here you see that, so now it's started to work. You see this, both both the CPUs are now getting used 100% because now the TensorFlow engine has started working. Okay, and this is your console window. So if you want to, in the meantime, in the parallel, if you want to do a few things, you can go and use the console. So you see, it's the TensorFlow is a very efficient algorithm. It's using the 2 CPUs 100% continuously. It shouldn't take more than, I would say, 2 minutes or something. So let's just wait and see what it is doing. In the meantime, while we are waiting for this, let me take a pause for a minute and see if you have any questions. So Purnendu is asking a few questions. He's saying, can I install external libraries on my virtual machine? Yes and no. So yes, you can install it. So let's say we let's go back to my window here, right? You see that this window, actually, you are the root user here in this window, in this console. So yes, you can install anything here, but it's not going to preserve across different sessions, right? So if you install anything here, it's available for you to use in this session. But when you kill this session or stop it, we basically just wipe clean the machine. It's a virtual machine, so the machine will just disappear. So it's not going to preserve across your sessions. If you need something that you want us to install and be available as a library to be used, send us an email at admin@kogence.com or mukul@kogence.com, and we'll install that for you. Another question he's asking is, what is the maximum limit of data that I can upload from my PC to Kogence server? I think the upload limit right now, one upload limit is 500 megabytes, but you can separately upload more. Any data that's not being used by the simulation, so this is not a storage service, right? So any data that's not touched by a program or a simulation, we wipe clean that data at end of the day. So the data that has never been used by a simulation library would be cleaned. Second question he's asking is, what is underscore T2C output and underscore T2C error? Those are simply standard error, standard output files, right? So this is T2C error is standard error being redirected into this file, and T2C output is just the standard output being redirected into this file. So here you see that the TensorFlow has stopped now. It's go back to 0 because the results, it's finished. Results has been printed here. So you can see that basically it's printing the accuracy, right? So you can see I'm guessing there would be 10 printouts. These are the 10 printouts for 10 digits. And it's telling us what is the accuracy of prediction. So this is the accuracy is about 95%. And you should read 95% for a machine learning actually is not that good. You can make it 98, 99% accurate. And this is, for example, MNIST example is a very common example. It's a lot of literature available on the internet. And one thing you should try to do is improve this example and see if you can make it 99% accurate, right? So that could be a one good exercise for you. So let's kill this job. And another thing I would like to show, you can kill the job from here, or the only reason this job is not automatically getting killed. So let's go back to settings, right, and look at the software. So the first one we are running the TensorFlow, and we saw the TensorFlow has already stopped. So this first job has already stopped. The second job is where I open this console extern, and the console job does not get over until I kill the console, right? So that's the reason this job is not getting complete by its own. If we did not have this console open, you would not need to manually close the job from here. The job would have just automatically closed because TensorFlow is finished. Because this console is hanging around, that's why this job is not getting killed automatically. So one thing I will show you is that if you just do the exit. Well, before I do that, one interesting thing you should know is that you notice this little triangle. By this, you can fold this navigation bar up and down. We give you this feature so that you have the full desktop visualization window for yourself, right? Okay, let me go back to the console and I exit from the console. If I exit from the console, you will see this job will kill automatically. Let's just wait for 3 seconds, and you see this job got disconnected by its own. Okay, so that's about it. There are many more machine learning engines. You are free to use any, and there are a lot of visualization engines, so you're free to use any. Let me take a few second pause here again and see if there is any questions available that we can answer. Go ahead, guys. We can take some Q&A session and we can take some questions. If you have any questions, you can type it on the chat window. Okay, so if there are no more questions, then I think we'll stop this webinar here. Okay, let me show you a few things. If you have a questions, what you do. The best place to ask a question is a forum. So you click on this forum, and you can post a question there, and you can this question forum is also a fully WYSIWYG editor. So you can ask very detailed questions. You can ask, you can insert code templates here. You can say here, you can add computer codes and say, hey, this is my code, it's not working, what's the problem? So you can ask questions here, and that's your best bet to get the fastest answer, because this forum is being monitored by many people. Whoever is the expert in that subject can reply to your question. So that's your first thing. Other places to ask a question, if you go to about page here under the platform, there is a contact us link here, right? So you can fill up a form and send us an email, or you can just directly send us an email at admin@kogence.com or mukul@kogence.com. Those are few ways to contact us. There is another way to contact us is that, let's say you are inside the model library, right? Here you see this live chat. If you click on this, you can ask your question here, but don't depend on the live chat, because we don't have so many live chat agents available to answer your question live. So if you don't get your answer right away on by through a live agent, then uh, don't depend on it. Most likely, nobody else is going to answer your question offline. The best is either send an email at admin@kogence.com or go to forum and post your question at forum. I'm also going to give you a little, so be careful that, there are these live chat window. There are actually two types of live chat we have. One is the product live chat. This is a technical live chat help. So if you are inside my platform, if you're looking at a model file or anything like that, if you are on a technical page, right? If you are on a technical page, then if you click on this live chat on the bottom, you will be connected to a technical person. But if you're on a landing page, right? So this is more like a marketing page. If you're on a landing page, you see the look and feel of this live chat is different. If you click on here, and this window also that comes up is a different window. This is a marketing live chat, right? So this is not a technical live chat. If you leave a message here, your message actually goes to a marketing person. You will not get the technical answers, right? So just those little bit of a technical details. I'm gonna wait here and see if you have any more questions. So Maverick James is asking, what are the other algorithms and software can I use for machine learning? You can go and look at all the different software available on platform here, right? There are a whole, as I mentioned, there are a whole bunch of them. Cafe is a machine learning framework. Keras is a machine learning framework. Lasagna is a machine learning framework. This one. OpenCV is a computer visualization program. Scikit-learn is a machine learning framework. TensorFlow is a machine learning framework. Theano, Torch, they are all machine learning frameworks. So you are free to use any one. By the way, actually, I wanted to show you Jupyter Notebook. So let's take a look at a Jupyter Notebook also, because I think it's a very common framework. It's a very common programming interface, and a lot of people use it. Here are the detailed instruction on how you're going to use it. If you scroll all the way down, there are a bunch of Jupyter Notebook examples that you can just take it and start using it. Let me show you another way to find examples on a particular topic. So if you click on the models here, you get to this view. This is a model library view, and this model library tells you who created a model, what are the different categories for that model, how many times it has been viewed, how many times it has been forked, how many times it has been executed. And there are filters here on the top. So for example, if you want to look at what are the Jupyter Notebook examples, you can just do the filter by Jupyter Notebook. This is a little bit slow responding web page. So you would have to wait for a few seconds. But this is now the list of all Jupyter Notebook examples that are available on our website. Right, so let's see if we can use some of these. Let me see which one might be a good example to open on Jupyter Notebook. So let's try this one. Oh, it's actually not. It's not. Let me see. It might not be a model that's I own it. Yeah, so let's go to the model. If you don't own a model, if you're not the owner of the model, then of course you're not allowed to modify that model until you make a copy of it, right? You would have to make a copy for your personal use, and then you can modify it. I don't want to make too many copies of models, so I'm just gonna go back and pick another project that Let's pick this one. I own this model, so this should not have that much of a problem. Let's see if this one is working. Right, it's using Jupyter Notebook. Let's look at the files. So all the Jupyter Notebook programming files are generally called, Jupyter Notebook used to be called IPython Notebook before. They changed their name. So that's why their extension is usually like this, IPython Notebook, right? And if you go on the settings here, this is the machine settings, the software setting is you will, from the drop-down menu, you will say Jupyter Notebook, and then you will just type the name of the Jupyter Notebook, IPython Notebook, right? And then you will just press the run button here. Again, I think there should be not that much wait time because that machine is already booted up, so it should come up very fast. Let's see. I'm going to refresh this window. No, it's taking some time. Okay, so let's wait for it. Meanwhile, I'm going to go to the chat window and see if there are any more questions. Yes, so Maverick is asking if the license to all these simulators are offered for free. So all the machine learning frameworks that I walked you through, like Keras, Theano, TensorFlow, they are actually all open source software. There is no license for it, so that's why it's available. We have some licensed software on our platforms, such as MATLAB. Uh, those software, if you want to use it, you would have to contact us, and we will need to arrange a license for you. So you cannot use a licensed software without having a license. But a whole bunch of software, especially all the machine learning frameworks on our website, they are actually license free. When will the challenge problem release? There is one more question. The challenge problem would be released over the weekend. So early next week, you should have the problem ready for you to work on. A time frame, the level 1 will be open for about a month. So around mid-January, we will close the level 1 and evaluate who graduates from level 1 to level 2. And then level 2 and level 3 will be open for 2 weeks each. So end of January will be close of level 2, and then mid of February will be close of level 3. If there are any more questions, please go ahead and use the chat window. Meanwhile, I'm going to go and see if this visual window is ready or not. It's not yet, so maybe it's firing a new machine, which is taking some time. So let's wait for the machine to come up. Meanwhile, if you guys have any questions, I can take some more questions. While we are waiting for that, I can show you a few more things on the okay, so the visual window has come up. So you click on this. So Jupyter Notebook opens on a web browser. So that's why this Google Chrome window is coming up. So Jupyter Notebook, that's the good thing about Jupyter Notebook is that it's a web browser based programming interface, and that's why people like it a lot. So this is your Jupyter Notebook, right? And I don't know if you guys have done Jupyter Notebook before. The way Jupyter Notebook works is that you have code cells here, and then you can add text. You can add comments, and you can describe what you're doing in that code segment. And so it goes like this, right? You can have code segments, and then you can have text comments, like describing what you're doing. So it's kind of a notebook. It's a report, and you can execute this code from right from here, right? So anyhow, the code got executed and it's finished. That's why the problem this got out by its own, because I had nothing to stop the code. If the code runs by its own, and when the code execution is over, the job gets over by its own. So that's all I think I had to show you. Uh, if you go look at more example, I would say, you should explore scikit-learn and TensorFlow a lot, because those are two very popular. Scikit-learn is a very simple library to learn, and TensorFlow is the most popular machine learning engine, and both of these websites has a lot of examples. We also have quite a few examples on scikit-learn on our website. So if you go scroll down here, uh, you will see a whole bunch of different examples using scikit-learn. Um, I think that's all I have to say. I'll just wait here for 1 or 2 more minutes and see if there are any more questions. So Purnendu is asking a question: can we do multiple submissions? Yes, you can do the multiple submissions. So as I told you, right, if you navigate away from a job, you can start another job, and then you go on the top right corner of your avatar here, and you look at my models. You get a list of all the models, and then you can, if you scroll in that list, you can see what are the models that are running. So you could have multiple models running, but be careful, they will be using your credits. Uh, Purnendu is asking, can we make multiple result submission during each level submission period? Sure, you can. What type of data we can expect in the hackathon? That we have not decided yet. We are still these problems that we are submitting on hackathon are the sponsored problems. So we are still working with our sponsors to see what we want to give. What's the problem statement? The problem statement will come out over the weekend. Is there anything else? I'll wait 5-10 more seconds if somebody has any questions. Otherwise, we'll close this webinar. Okay, guys. So if there are no more questions, then let's close this webinar, and I look forward for the problem statement coming out. Good luck. Thanks, guys. Thanks for your time, and thanks for listening. Bye.